Good evening, all the graduating students. Respected Chief Guest, Shri Ashish Kumar Chauhan, distinguished and honorable guests, our dear graduating students, their families, Director Professor Uttam Kumar Sarkar, Deans, Program Chairs, our loved and respected faculty colleagues, dear staff members, and the IIM Calcutta community. My pranams to all of you. Sitting amongst us and gracing this occasion are our most revered faculty colleagues, teachers, one and all, men and women who consciously chose the most noble of all professions, teaching. It is the hallmark of true teachers that they never seek acknowledgement. But we who have received from them the most valuable gift possible in life, knowledge, we must wholeheartedly convey to them our deepest appreciation for this gift and their selfless work. I thought about this, but I think I will urge all of you, do please stand up and please join me in acknowledging this singular contribution in the life of each and every student and all in the IIM Calcutta community. Please thank all the teachers with a standing ovation. Thank you so much. I'm really overwhelmed and thank you, deeply grateful. In late October 2017, the Government of India offered me the chance to be associated with the IIM Calcutta family. I accepted this position as chairperson of the Board of Governors. I really can't know, time has really flown. This is the 5th annual convocation that I have the honor to attend. My dear graduating class, today you graduate from IIM Calcutta and enter the world of professionals. All your hard work and toil is being recognized and culminating in you becoming the newest members of the family of the IIM Calcutta alumni. An incredible distinction and a coveted privilege. Please accept my heartfelt congratulations and admiration for all of you. Before I came, I was a little remiss. There was a deadline by which I was supposed to submit my thoughts, which is traditionally called the Chairperson Speech. But I finished writing this very late last night, and I had to leave for the airport at Bangalore at 2 a.m. in the morning. So that's why you don't have this as a handout, but I have been promised that this will be put up in the web. So I was wondering, what should I talk? Most traditional speeches are advisory and prescriptive in nature. But today I thought I wish to place before you some critical thoughts for you to reflect upon. These are not all my thoughts. Many are gleaned from books that I have read and people I have met. Some of them are also my own thoughts. What is important is that these are significant in that they will help you ask yourselves deep questions and hopefully unleash insights and to synthesize disparate ideas into a harmonious whole. I would like to speak to you about leadership because that is what most students graduating from Joka become or are expected to become. So I asked myself, who am I to advise? And I do not wish to be prescriptive. So today I will be a little different, and I hope you will bear with me. I wish to share with you a list of questions that will help you gain insight on what it means to be a leader. So here goes. The first question I ask myself, and I urge you to ask these questions to yourself also: what is a leader, or what is leadership? Can leadership be learnt? Can it be taught? Or is it that either you have it in you or you don't have it in you? Or is it that leadership is gained by experience? What are the core qualities for being considered an effective leader? Example: courage, fearlessness, integrity, transparency, compassion, being consistent, being a giver. Can leadership be sustained? What is the impact of our purpose on the quality of our leadership? Let me clarify. What I mean is, does the quality of leadership differ as the purpose varies across the selfish spectrum? Let me explain. Our purpose can vary from being selfless to selfish in varying degrees. And therefore, I ask myself, does the quality of leadership differ as the purpose varies across this selfish spectrum? Example: should our purpose be doing good through oneself, or rather, should it be for doing good for oneself? This is a question I often ask myself. I'm coming up close to 58, and I still ask these questions to myself. So I thought that over so many years, if I've had the experience, it may have taken me 20 years, but for a younger generation, I should be able to share it with you in 30 minutes or 15 minutes. You shouldn't have to struggle for 20 years. Is leadership dependent upon power, authority, and position? And therefore, to be a leader, is it essential to have followers? And this leads me to further ask, is leadership the exclusive preserve of charismatic people at the top echelons of organizations? Is leadership about fighting for a cause, or is it how to keep the focus on the cause that is being fought for? Is therefore leadership more about what needs to be done than what I can do? And this leads to the very important question: what is the distinction between being a leader and exercising leadership? Just as there is shared responsibility, is there something like shared leadership? How important is the ability in a leader to examine their values, question their assumptions, and use this inquiry to hone their judgment? For this, it seems to me that an open mind is necessary. And I wonder what it means to have an open mind. Is it when our commitment to curiosity is more than our commitment to our prejudices? Or let me make it a little harder. Is it when our commitment to curiosity is more than our commitment to our convictions? Is there a concept such as a complete leader, one who exercises leadership in all spheres of his or her life? Can this happen if we were less than authentic in different spheres of our lives? And what do I mean by authentic? By authentic here, I mean how much is the overlap between our thoughts, our words, and our deeds? So you may recall that every time I was charging you when giving the degree, it was that you shall make yourself worthy of thought, word, and action. So generally speaking, as you become more proficient at life, you will find that your thoughts, words, and actions tend to overlap more and more and more, and that's a good sign. I ask myself, is that a sign of a good leader? Is a true leader one whose absence is felt, but his presence is like oxygen, essential but non-invasive? This is another question I struggle with. And finally, this is a little counterintuitive, and I want you to think about it in your leisure. Is leadership about leading people from the known to the unknown? These questions I have tried to outline are not ordinary, and those of you who would want to get their hands on these can download it from the IIMC website. I've been told the text will be shared there. Changing gears, I know how proud you must feel to be a part of an institution that values academic excellence and individual achievement. To this, I would add an aspiration that I have held in my heart. For I want IIM Calcutta to be an institution that contributes significantly to social good through socially relevant and impactful research. And this led me to ask the following questions. What is social good? What is development? Is good governance social good? Is building human capital social good? Is development considered a social good? You know, you will agree that GDP and GNP are ethic neutral. They lack moral content. Let me give you an example. Illegal and even criminal activity can generate economic results. The gross national product does not allow for the health of our children, the quality of their education, or even the joy of their play. It does not include the intelligence of our public debate or the integrity of our public officials. It measures neither our courage, neither our learning, neither our compassion, nor our devotion to our country. It measures everything, in short, except that which makes life worthwhile. While as a society we struggle with economic poverty, I also wonder if you have ever thought about why do we as a society suffer from the poverty of speaking up when your voice is needed? Why do we as a society suffer from the poverty of participation in civic responsibilities? These questions make me wonder if the need is to build human capital in quality and scale, that it results in building social capital. Will that be then considered as development? And the subsequent question is there a way we can measure development that is not ethic neutral and which does not lack moral content? These are a whole lot of questions. There is no prescriptions here. About 100 years ago, Gandhiji wrote about the tensions between economic growth and social justice. He did not believe in the state controlling all means of production. Yet he was concerned about how capitalism would achieve social justice. He described this challenge in the form of 7 deadly sins, 7 deadly social sins that he hoped the world would rid itself of. I will read them out to you. Wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, religion without sacrifice, politics without principles. These words have even greater resonance today than they had about a century ago. Rapid technological change will challenge our abilities to manage the social pressures that come with it. Let's think about some of the first words in the 7 social sins. You have knowledge, science, commerce, wealth, and pleasure. These are in many ways the bedrock of economic growth and keys to human progress. Then think about the last words: character, humanity, morality, work, and conscience. These are the social principles and human values that underlie social justice. It is crucial that even as we use knowledge and science to power up the engines of commerce to create wealth and pleasure, we exercise restraint by not taking unfair advantage of our knowledge, by acting ethically, by being aware of the privileges we enjoy that others don't, and by reflecting on the consequences of our actions on our societies. Gandhiji often wondered about the hardness of the heart of educated. We all have a streak of generosity within us, but somehow in the busy lives we lead, we forget this essential truth. We are taught by our parents, as I was by mine, that in the ultimate analysis, a life well lived is measured not by what one does for oneself, but by what one does for others. The tremendous improvements in information and communication technologies and the digitization and automation had other unexpected effects. Of all the wealth created in the world over the last 20 years, a large percentage of it has gone to the top 1% of the population. The bottom 50% has hardly benefited. This is not surprising given that the economies of scale and network effects of automation and digitization technologies. Economies of scale simply means that as companies get bigger, the cost of providing services decreases. Network effects means that a company's services are more valuable the more the people who use that service. Whereas in the past, growth increased both wages of workers and shareholder returns, most of the rewards in the new economy have gone only to shareholders. As my teacher, Professor Shrikant Datar at the Harvard Business School reminds us, the policy ideas that can address the above problems will not happen without the most successful individuals engaging with these societal challenges. In this effort, entrepreneurs, managers, and management education will have to play a big role. We will need to marshal several of the knowing, doing, and being skills that he wrote about in his famous book, Rethinking the MBA. Leadership, innovation, creative and integrative thinking, understanding the role, responsibilities, and the purpose of business and issues surrounding risk, regulation, and restraint. If we can get this right, as I'm hopeful we will, perhaps the new economy will help us achieve the lofty vision of inclusive growth. If we do not, the tensions and tribulations it will create will test the very fabric of our societies. It is our choice to make, unquote. What I'm now going to say is what I shared with the graduating students in the Convocation of 2021. But I believe that fundamentally important matters can be and should be repeated. Let me share with you my observations, and I should not claim that they are wholly correct. Please use them if you feel attracted and motivated to explore them. In your professional lives, as also personal lives, you will encounter many battles. They're all, in one way or the other, leadership battles. The most crucial will be those which are unequal battles, unequal assets, unequal power, unequal influences, etc. In such battles, it is my experience that the two most important qualities that help me progress are be brave, be fearless, and be patient. Most such battles are lost due to impatience. Your own strength of character and intelligence will give you the willpower that is needed to endure such battles. And finally, you will need to have on your side truth, satya, humility and modesty, sheel or vinamrata, selflessness, which is generally called niswarth in Hindi, but I will use the unusual meaning of selflessness, which is doing good for others, which translated is par hit. To make these qualities your own requires sadhana, which can be loosely translated in English as deep, introspective, disciplined, relentless, long duration study. If you have these qualities, there's a very high probability that you will not lose these unequal battles. Battles which are between sadhana versus sadhan, assets and power versus influence. As you set forth and progressively take leadership positions, you will need to wrestle with the changing nature and scope of your responsibilities. I urge you to always introspect and consider ways in which you will inspire yourselves to rise to the challenges of responsible, accountable leadership, to behave wisely, especially in the face of powerful pressures to do otherwise. Let me repeat that. I urge you to always introspect and consider ways in which you will inspire yourselves to rise to the challenges of responsible, accountable leadership, to behave wisely, especially in the face of powerful pressures to do otherwise, and to develop a clear set of moral commitments, personal values, and ethical principles to guide your actions. It is my desire that IIM Calcutta nurtures all the above qualities among its students: to be humble, to have the courage to do what is right, and to gain the trust of society. I desire for IIM Calcutta to make integrity, ethics, and values a central part of their curriculum for all programs. It is my dream that one day IIM Calcutta graduate must be known to be more empathetic, better able to balance human and business aspects, people-oriented, able to understand human processes and circumstances, and socially responsible. I wish for our alumni to say that IIM Calcutta made them a better person and human being, and taught them to respect others and to care how others live. Life flows like a river. In your case, it will not be different. It will flow like a river. Kawa no nagare no yoni. That's the Japanese version. Kawa is a river, and your lives, just like mine and for everybody else's, it will flow like a river. This is a very famous Japanese song, Kawa no nagare no yoni, and sung by a famous Japanese singer called Misora Hibari. And its lyrics are almost spiritual. Some of you may want to listen to it, and so I'm sharing the URL on the website. It's a beautiful song. Even if you don't understand it, I'm sure you will like it. There will be difficulties in your life. Adversity will build character. Or as I like to say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Again, the Japanese say it beautifully. Ame futte chi ga katamaru, which means when it rains, the earth becomes harder. And that happens to all of us. So when you face challenges and difficulties, don't lose hope. Adversity will build character. Remember that. Don't ever lose hope. I'm optimistic about the future. We have adaptive institutions, thoughtful citizens, and are a resilient society that has outlasted every other known civilization. We have the potential to create the most wealth and the highest welfare of any other society. Guided by the goals of economic growth and social justice and qualities of humility, courage, and trust, the choice is ours to dream and ours to make. Before I end, I would like to share a very important news with all of those who are connected with us today in person and also virtually. At IIM Calcutta, we have successfully registered a Section 8 company called the IIM Calcutta Endowment Management Fund. This will be managed and run by the alumni of IIM Calcutta, with participation by key officers of IIM Calcutta, such as directors and deans. This organization will be at the forefront of raising resources from alumni and CSR funds for the important and long pending development of our institute's key infrastructure, which includes the physical infrastructure as also the digital infrastructure. Standing in front of you with folded hands, I request each and every one of you who's listening in, even virtually, and every one of the alumni community to consider giving back to Mother IIM. This is the mother who has given wings to every dream that you brought to campus. I must also congratulate the graduating MBA batch. I don't know if some of you remember, it was in 2020 when you joined and the COVID pandemic had just started. And in your joining up, I was given the privilege of speaking to some of you who had joined in that day. And I remember throwing a challenge that I would be delighted if I saw that all of you who joined graduate together. Do you remember that? Does anybody remember? Or maybe you've forgotten. But anyhow, I must congratulate all of you because you have come very close to my challenge of graduating almost all of you together. This is a worthy of a high five, you know. The reason I say this, that there is no doubt about your abilities, there is no doubt about your intelligence. But what use is that if some of us are left behind? And the day you learn to take the downtrodden or those less fortunate who are getting left behind, it's my personal belief, and you can discount it or you can take it. The day you start doing that, you will truly become assets for Mother India. Thank you all for allowing me to be a part of your celebrations. This is such a joyous day. All the very best. My prayers for your good health and your excellent future and your indomitable spirit. Thank you again, all of you. Thank you very, very much. Jai Hind.